you organized since we won't be meeting next month
Okay.
on all the projects.
I really don't have anything for to
like
talk
a
about
thank you.
on my end today.
What?
I know.
We'll get through it.
Okay, that's what
Hey,
it sounded
with,
like.
since G's not quite ready, in
Sorry,
October,
but yeah, we're making sure it's
okay, in
on.
October, Sarah, how much time did you spend in October on
Oh.
Shade Tree?
Lots. Well, October into November.
We got October and November. I forgot to do it last month.
Okay.
I know, you gotta
I
think
wasn't
back.
here, so I know, my brain is. Did we meet the first time in October?
Probably.
I'm just getting an okay from Maureen. I'll say 20 hours in October and 30 hours in November. Nope.
Thank you. And I know you had about, how many hours you did yours
I
in
want to say about
October?
15.
We didn't do anything in November. Ours was in October, wasn't it,
Yeah.
when we got together? Laura?
November, not much. I would say 15. October, I would say about 25.
No.
Same as same,
Yep.
probably less. I had the bid.
You left a little bit earlier.
12.
I'll give you 5.
Okay, that's even better.
Zane, in October, how many hours did you spend thinking about Shade Tree?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's do 20 and 20.
20 and 20? Randy?
What's 15 and 15?
Brian Wade?
30 and 30.
Good. I like it. Read my scribble, I'll be good. Andy, what year? Quentin?
20.
Both?
Sure.
Scott's not here yet. Let's see, what did I do?
I could look through my time sheets. I usually figure it out, but that's too much work. Yep. Pretty accurate with that. Just because I know he asked that I never looked before a meeting.
Okay.
Just hours a week. It's pretty.
Are we good?
We're good.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for making it in this today, for today's meeting. We don't have the minutes from the October meeting completed yet, or, yeah, October. But we do have the September that we had last time, but we didn't get it voted on. Does anybody remember anything about that meeting? Those minutes?
I've been listening to it.
So, do you want to put it off until January?
I mean, I don't have my copy with me, so I'm kind of in, I
Okay.
don't really remember, but if other people.
So, how about if we do this, Judy?
Yeah.
Would you make sure everybody gets a copy of the October and November
Yes.
minutes? And then in January, we'll vote on September, October, and November. That sound fair?
So is anybody not getting them?
You just don't. I don't have them with me.
Okay, that's
How
fine.
do we get them through the email, right?
What's that?
Yes.
How are we getting them through the email?
Mm-hmm, through the
Okay.
city
Because
email.
when I looked at, the only thing I had was the agenda, no minutes, that's because they weren't ready.
Right, November's
Yeah.
not ready yet.
I've
Yeah,
never received a
Any?
minutes yet,
okay.
because I think it's something.
I will check on you, make sure.
We'll just. Russ, have you been getting them?
Yeah?
All right.
Judy, if you just send it to
Have
them,
you set up your email?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
set it up?
yeah.
so you don't have to do all the individual
Okay, I'll see if
emails
Todd can do that, because he
Judy,
sets it up through.
through the system. Yep.
Yep, that works for me.
Make-
Or I can just.
Make sure you have
Yeah, she said
Samara.
she would.
Make
Yes,
sure she's in there.
yep.
Samara. I told you, I'll butcher it. It's terrible.
Hey, he still struggles with beach and birch.
Beach and Laura and Sarah and you name it. Okay, so we're good on that. On the financial side, we still got a little bit of money we haven't spent yet, but we're getting there. We're gonna plant some trees, and that's the goal. So, on first thing on the agenda was Heartland Commons Park. Several of us emailed. Did you go to that? I don't remember when you were. Yes, Russ and email and Brian
And
Wade
Did I get you one?
and myself and Zane
Still down there?
went with Jeff Gocke to Heartland Commerce Park, walked around the park, listened to his ideas about what he wanted where, and we came up with a plan. Brian and I went back, we stepped things off, got a tree count. Looks like about 200 trees. Yeah, that's what I said, wow. A lot more than I thought. And it's like, they're gonna need water, so we we're supposed to have a meeting this month, but my schedule, things have happened in my world and it didn't happen. So we have a meeting December 20th with Jeff to go over the list, get an idea of what they're willing to do. My initial thought is to break it up over a couple of years, because it's gonna be something we're gonna have to work on figuring out how to water. They don't have, I didn't see anywhere where they had access to water.
There's access to water. There should
Your-
be. I
your
mean, I
building.
know, yeah, from our garage there is.
Yeah.
But, so there's gotta be other water access points
But not in that
in the
park.
complex.
But not in the park on the corner. There was no spigot anywhere around there when we were walking. So we'll work that out. But anyway, we have a meeting on December the 20th to go over with them how that's gonna work. And this is a project that's funded by the Area Development Foundation, the Heartland Commerce Park. We're just consultants. Shade Tree is consulting. Brian Wade will do the contractor's work. That's why that's on here. Questions about that? All right. So I got Arbor Day on here because we talked about that last month, and I said, you know, it's a good thing to plan. And we talked about the square and getting that designated as an arboretum. Brian and I walked around. I've got the list of trees. I haven't gotten everything to Zane yet, but Zane's going to work on the application. Did you know that, Zane?
Yeah.
Good.
We talked about it.
I know we talked about it, but Quentin said no.
I didn't know about this.
You didn't know about it? We're gonna work on an application, try to get that, the arboretum set up, and then you'd mentioned bringing kids into there instead of going to a school.
Yeah.
So, I kinda like that idea.
I think that's a requirement. Am I wrong? To be an arboretum, don't you have to have your Arbor Day festival there?
Depends on
You
the
have to have
level.
a festival there? Oh, it's for,
Good.
There's
They-
different levels.
They required community activity in the area, festivals, things like that, which with the, First Friday, with the, farmer's market, with all the things that go on the square.
It all counts.
that would count.
Those,
Oh, okay.
those would all
Gotcha.
count as
Okay.
public activity in the area.
Do you remember how many species we came up with in there?
I've got it written down.
My minutes said 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
31?
I think
Well,
we had
that's
some-
enough.
yeah.
I think we needed
20 some,
25.
25.
25
That's
to
what's in my
qualify.
minutes. Yeah.
And we have a patriot elm and a constitution elm.
Which were planted 8 years ago last week, because I had a memory come up on my phone of you and I standing there when we was planting them.
There you go.
Yeah.
How long ago? 8 years.
It's hard to believe it just flies by.
Well, all you gotta do is look at them, my gosh, they like it there.
They're doing well.
And,
And, you know, it's trees and shrubs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have a great variety of things in there. So I'll be working with Zane. We'll get that worked out.
Yeah, I'll look at the requirements for the different levels. We should meet one, but if we can push for 2,
Let's see.
let's do it.
All right. We'll see where it goes. And Zane's had his position, had it added to your position. He is our city forester.
Yeah.
Not only is he doing everything else, he is now our city forester. So I just keep going and saying, hey Zane, can you do this?
Nothing's changed. except
Nothing's
for a
changed.
cooler title.
Yeah.
you got a
just-
title out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. After you ask him so long, you finally get the title.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian signed off on that a few weeks ago now.
Yeah. Okay. All right, well, we'll have more first part of the year, and we'll get that rolling, and then we'll work with the schools, see what we can do about getting kids there and getting it taken care of. So on the TCP side of things, where are you?
Okay, I think I am basically done. We did the second half last week, and I got the order into Cheryl.
Okay.
I, of course, have one change from something. I am actually slightly, so my budget was 20,000, right, which is just under 67 trees, and I'm at 69 trees.
Oh,
And I have a request for one more that I had said yes until so if I could go to 70, that'd be over I'd be over
we'll be okay.
$1,000. It'd be
I'll
20.
email the Aerial Foundation and check, but in years past, they've been okay with that.
Okay, so right now,
Special purchase.
I'm at 20,700, but if I could add that one, it'd be 21 versus 20. So
Yeah, and
you'll let-
I think pretty much every year, we end up maybe a couple trees less because for whatever reason or another.
Well, that's why I sort of was a little ambitious this year, because I had attrition last year with
Yeah.
my numbers, and then this year, not so much.
Yeah.
So I ended up a touch over. So, okay, so yeah, if you could see if I could get the extra 1,000 approved, I hope
Yep.
so, because 2 of the trees people already are expecting.
Okay, very
Wait
good.
till I get the quote.
I like that. So yeah, so I intended to spend some time with Quentin this afternoon, but I got tied up with Zane. He took up all my time.
My bad.
So Quentin and I didn't get a chance to talk about how we're gonna work that out, but yes. I'm with him. We can make it work.
Okay.
Okay. So all the quotes are in, or all the information's in to Cheryl? Have you gotten the quotes back?
Everything is in. I don't have anything back.
You haven't
but,
gotten the quote back?
in the meantime, I have like one change I need to send her, because somebody had a change of heart about something.
What? You can't change your mind? All right, very good. Okay, so Laura, what do you got on the west end?
I don't have a lot. Excuse me. I still need about 7 addresses
I'll work on
for
that.
my man Zane. I got Brian my list today, so that's pretty much where I'm at.
Your list for the,
Just a more cohesive list of addresses, the trees, and where they're going.
you have an estimated number?
Ours were, let's see.
Isn't that nice of me to make her do that?
I have 18, and these are just single trees. Several people wanted more than one, and I just asked them to wait till the next cycle.
Okay.
And then I have about another 7, so. How many does that make up? It's like 24, 25 in my section, and that's the Gambier to Arch Street. And then I'm not sure how many are High Street to Gambier.
We have quite a few.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Okay. Zane, you want to step up to the mic so Judy can get you official? Kind of fill us in on what's going on your end of it.
Yeah, so we sent out a bunch of mailers on the west end, all from High Street down to Arch Park. Laura took Gambier down to Arch Park, and then we were working on High Street to Gambier, the northern part of that section. We made all phone calls to confirm addresses, and if people still wanted them, I need to get with Brian and figure out times to go out there. We had a date set, and I had to cancel, and then I left for vacation and just got back. So we're going to go out there and yeah, look at sites and pick trees. We had maybe, I don't know what the number is off the top of my head, so you said you had about 25,
About
or
25.
so.
Yeah.
So we've probably got close to 40 others that will go to. Probably closer to 50, I would say, because all said and done on the mailers, we got close to 110, I'd say, people wanting trees.
Okay.
So Doc Amel and Russ had gone to Catherine, Sandusky, and Pleasant. And so with those 3 other areas, yeah, we got close to 110 properties that wanted trees. Whether we end up with that many after we visit, and some people have already said they don't want one anymore, that's okay. We expected 30, so yeah, we really exceeded on that project, but that's good. Like I said, we're waiting on confirmation from a couple people we left voicemails with, and then we'll go and put some flags in the ground. Yep.
Very good.
So
Very good.
that's where we are on that
Very
project.
So it's just a matter of getting with Brian and walking out. And
Yeah,
putting flags.
yeah, we're running up. If we're already past, to be honest, the time window on getting trees ordered, so we'll try and do it here soon. Yeah. Do we want to talk about pear trees while I'm standing up here?
Yeah, you want to talk about pear trees?
Yeah.
This has been a conversation between Quentin and Zane and myself. So he's going to bring you up to snuff on what's going on there.
Yeah, so Quentin and Doc kind of had this idea to do some pear removals inside the city. Quentin spoke to me and said, yeah, we're looking to do about 80 removals with replacement. So I got on our inventory list in 2016 or so. We had students inventory all the city trees, identify them, and so I started off that list and looked at where we had pairs, Bradford pairs in the city right of ways, narrowed down ones that had been removed already, and ones that confirmed that were actually in our right of ways, and got about 80 trees that we're looking to remove. We took that and got it quoted with SOS Tree Services. The list ended up being right around 80 trees. Quentin and I went and looked at the trees that were quoted, made some amendments the other day, added some and removed some from that list, and waiting on an updated quote. And it came to $20,250, I believe, on for the removals. That includes taking down the tree as well as removing the stump, either grinding or pulling it, depending on what the site calls for. And then we have spoken with Brian as well on replacing those trees once they've been removed. He's got some ideas. We're still working on that. There's a species he has in mind that he's kind of liking a lot lately. It's a maple variety that grows pretty well and under power lines, so we're looking at that. And then we've also talked about having Scott go through on stumps and paint them in between the removal of the tree and then the removal of the stump, because pears are pretty prolific sprouters after removal. So just to keep them from sprouting up after they get cut, we'll get them treated, hit them with a little herbicide, and paint them up good, and that'll hopefully keep them from coming back. Yep. And so that's where we're on that. We already have one quote. We're working on getting it amended, and then we'll start on that. We won't get it all encumbered this year or anything, but we'll keep that. We'll probably blanket it or do something. Quentin knows a little bit more about that than I do. We get that going sooner rather than later.
Very good.
Yep.
It'll be a next year project, as far as we won't cover the funds till next year, so it'll be
Okay.
the next grant cycle.
For all of it. Okay. So yeah. So Quentin said we'll encumber all the funds next year for the.
So you'll need
microphone.
trees in the spring or in the fall?
So yeah, the removals will take winter into early spring, and then Scott will paint them. There's 2-week lead time between the two, and then so it'll be spring, probably. Yeah, at least earliest.
We can split it up if we need to.
Yeah. And we don't have to replace directly after. They can go in the following winter if we need to do it like that.
Because I reserved some trees
Yeah.
at another nursery. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure, I promised them that definitely won't.
How many did you
So,
reserve
I think it was like 54, 56, something like that.
for this project specifically?
Well, we can use them other places.
Yeah, but, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And what kind of maple was that?
Ruby Sunset maple.
Ruby Sunset maple.
They're only supposed to get 25 feet.
Yep.
They're a hybrid, they're not supposed to.
Mhm.
They look like it'd be a good replacement for pears.
They have a nice uniform trunk and a nice crown.
We can talk more about the other species going there too, because a lot of the pear trees are just in rows. There's a couple spots, there's a dozen pear trees in a row. Might try to
Mix
there's
those ones up.
diversity in there.
Specifically on South Division.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I was gonna ask if you was out about the school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 20 of them right there.
Yeah. There's a lot. So big project we're working on, and it sounds like it'll start up beginning of next year.
Anybody got questions for Zane about that?
I do. You said $20,500 for 80 trees? How did you get that good price? That came up to $256 a tree.
Well,
Yeah.
it's $250 a tree,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
82 trees.
Yeah. 20,250 for
Be 81,
250.
yeah.
Yeah. 253 a tree or whatever it ended up being.
Yeah, 200 per removal, 50 per stump.
Amel's got 2 in his backyard. Can we give you the 250? You guys had them.
I'll give you the guy's number, and you can work on that between him and.
I know.
Oh, they're big ones.
That's private property, we're not there
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Right
So
away.
It's a good winter project for him. It'll be used as fillers. So instead, if he went out and mobilized just for that, but while he's around, he'll do them while he's there and that. And so it gets him up to his guys, an 8-hour day where they might have had 6 before. So instead of charging us $600 a tree, he's able to keep that cost down for us.
How you do that? Like when these guys went up to hit a map, and you map it out for them?
Yeah. Yeah,
On a
you didn't bring those,
iPad
did
or-
you, by chance? So, like I had mentioned 8 years ago now, whenever it was, the city had students go and inventory the trees
he
in the
does.
city and actually take GPS locations of all those trees. And I took that inventory and QC'd it based on what was actually there and kind of got a preliminary on what we're working with. And then we got it quoted, and then Quentin and I went and inspected and found a couple discrepancies even further, and then went for the amended quote.
I mean, I understand trees more now, but like 80 trees, is that a good depth? How many trees?
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, we have 800 pear trees in the city that we know about. There's more than that easily, but they're not all in the right of way. They're not all accessible to us, and they're scattered around. The 80 that we chose are kind of in clusters, so it's going to have a higher economical impact in those areas, because where there's 5 or 6 right in a row, we'll now get something a little more.
Tell me again why these pear trees are bad.
They're invasive, so they're a non-native species. They're not from this region or this country. They were brought in the 70s, planted as the next best tree, grow fast, beautiful flowers. Turns out they weren't.
Birds don't like them, bees don't like them.
They do have, yeah, they do have, just because they have wildlife benefits doesn't mean they're good. Honeysuckle, right? Birds eat it, but they have little to no nutritional value, but they prioritize that because it's like candy. Think of honeysuckle as candy. You can eat it because it tastes good, but it's going to kill you over the long term. It's kind of like how birds do with honeysuckle. Bradford pears, they might like it. Some bees, flies. We do have pollinators that like it, but it's not really the best. But the problem is it's invasive. It takes over. I don't know if you've ever drove down 70 in early spring and you see all the white flowers in the trees. Those are all pears. Those aren't supposed to be there. And you see the density of them. They grow fast. They take over. They sprout, like I said, pretty prolifically. The first sign of stress or damage, they'll send up suckers all around them, and then you have a cluster of them. You get a lot of volunteers that way. So, yep, they grow where other things don't is kind of the problem.
Does the government give you money just to get rid of these?
There are grants available. We've tried for some that we could use for removals, not specifically for pears. This past year, they actually made the purchase and planting of pears illegal in the state of Ohio. No, you can't sell them. You can't plant them. Well, you can plant them if you had one, I guess, but you're not supposed to. You can't buy
When we
them.
apply for grants, did we get turned down?
Yeah, we got turned down for one. We did get some. But we keep working on them. Doc finds them, we apply for them. A lot of people do, so they're competitive. So we just keep trying. Yep. But we get money from Ariel. They help us out a lot. We get their grants. They've been generous, and we've been able to use funds from them and
Is that the
from the
only
city.
bad tree in the town?
No, we have other things
Tell me
going.
something else.
Tree of Heaven, Ailanthus altissima, autumn olive. It's a shrubby tree. Honeysuckle. We have some others that aren't as bad, that aren't natives, but those are the invasive ones that we have. Winged euonymus is euonymus alatus is a non-native shrub that a lot of people plant ornamentally. Abel probably has dealt with that more than any of us here. It's another non-native we have that's now in some states registered non-native invasive. So we have a lot. We do it all the time. It's.
You go down 71 right before you get into Cincinnati, especially like in the fall, look up on the bank, it's just nothing but fire bushes now.
Yep.
That's about what?
Fire bushes now.
Burning bush, though, euonymus, the winged
pretty,
euonymus.
aren't
Well, there's lots of things pretty that take over the native trees and things like that, and they choke them out.
Mhm.
Can't grow the other.
That's why they get brought in originally, because they looked good. They had a value. And we planted them not knowing what they were capable of. And we have species native to us that take over in other countries too. It works both ways. A box elder, for example, is a huge problem in Asian countries because it's brought over there and it takes over. But it's native to us. You don't think about it. So it works both ways. We do the same. Knotweed. That's what Scott deals with a lot. Japanese knotweed. So
That's some of the hardest stuff I've
Yeah.
ever killed in my life.
we have a lot. Stilt grass. We have a lot of stuff that's no good. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
gonna, Ian will show me. Take him off.
Yeah. We'll find them. Next thing I have here is the Catherine Pleasant Street, and that would have been also Sandusky. Through email and Russ and Brian and I did those. That's part of the 110 that Zane had already talked about. Then I have a miscellaneous replacement. I know there's a bad one on the corner of Mulberry and Gambier. And there's a bad one at the firehouse. Has anybody seen any other trees, any other dead trees around that we should be getting on our list?
Isn't there one in front of the jewelry store downtown?
On Main Street?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that one.
Ah.
Take a look at that
Right in
one.
front of the
Right in
jewelry
front of the
store.
jewelry store.
I'll look
Yeah.
when we get done here.
Good. Is it dead or just really in bad shape, or how? What do you?
I thought it was, last time I looked at it, it was in real bad shape. Getting
You know
ready
what
to
species
die.
that was, Emil?
I'm sorry?
You know what species tree that was?
No, I don't remember.
That's fine.
Okay.
I just remember noticing it.
Yeah, hornbeam.
Hornbeam.
Yeah, we took out a lot of the oaks and put hornbeams in there.
Yeah.
Is this Angie?
And then there's the
Hey.
scary tree on North Jefferson. The
Oh,
silver maple with
yeah,
the
Zane and I
talked about that
Oh.
right before.
Yeah, I was thinking of replacements. Being-
Right, I know, but it made me think of
Yeah.
maybe just removals.
Yeah, Zane has a list of removals that
Okay.
he'll be
Yeah,
starting
I
on.
I have a growing list of removals, and I was waiting on confirmation of where funds were going. And now I have funds available, so I can go ahead with removals and potential possible replacements happening.
That one does
Down
seem
another
scary.
maple on Sugar Street, that I think there's a silver.
On
east
West
and
Sugar?
It would be east,
Okay.
right across, it's just down from the Board of Elections, across the street.
Just shoot me a message on.
I'll take a
I
picture.
walk by it every day, I'll look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a lot of damage down at the bottom, looks like a plow or something might have hit it years
Oh,
ago.
really?
And it's starting to,
Scrape it up.
the edge starting to
East of the
die.
Board of Elections?
Yes, sir.
You know what, I just, I appreciate you showing up, Scott, and I just went right on my stuff. Do you have to leave? Do you have anything you need to say today?
No, I was actually, now I'm curious to see what tree's sick down on Main Street. So the only thing I'm gonna do is go down and look at that and,
Golf's done for the year. So.
yeah, well, I wish it wasn't. Today would've been a good day. We should've played hooky.
A little windy.
All right. Well, I put the YMCA on here. I think I mentioned that last time that we'd gone around, Brian and Nick Carter and I went around and we found locations for 21 trees. The Career Center is gonna plant them for us, so those will be planted in the spring. He still is in conversation with John Campbell about the wall, the barrier that he's gonna build to raise the tree up to the parking lot level.
Tree well.
Tree well. Dang, I couldn't think of tree well. The tree well, so they're in conversation about that. I think they would need to do 9 of them, but we'll see where that goes. Okay. I've got Bee City on here. Quentin, you wanna talk about that a little bit?
Yep, so next big thing on December 3rd, right? No, 4th, December 4th. At
8:30
8:30 in the morning, we're gonna plant some shrubs down at in the ditch on Beach Street, on the what would that be, the east side of the ditch?
No, it's on the north, it's
The
on
north
south-
side, but on the east
Yeah.
end of the ditch.
North side, east.
Yeah, so we've got Doc's got some stuff at his house. I've got some stuff at my house. So we'll just have to get it all aggregated either the day before or that
We're
morning.
gonna have to get the flags out.
Get some flags. I was thinking anybody who wants to go the day before who's available, we could go market.
Now, that's a Wednesday,
The
right?
4th is a Wednesday.
Yes.
8:30.
So the Tuesday,
8:30.
the Tuesday the 3rd, or we could do
Or if
Monday.
you wanted me to be involved, we could do it on the Saturday before.
That would be this Saturday.
That would be this Saturday.
I'm not available this Saturday.
Okay.
It is Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
It's what?
Thanksgiving weekend.
It is
See,
Thanksgiving.
you always schedule this the week of gun season, you know you kill me each year, Bob.
Yeah,
I don't
Monday's not
schedule
a good
it.
day.
I've already,
It's when John says he has time to do it.
I've already got it kind of planned out. I don't have it drawn up, but I could
Okay.
make up a quick drawing, and that way, as far as flagging goes, as long as you're okay with it, I could send it to you. You can look at it, and then we can just really just lay it out in the field, and we could just go set the pots where they need to go, and the students can plant them.
What I was thinking was maybe Tuesday evening, I could swing by and pick up what you have to, I can put it in the truck or the trailer. Maybe the trailer is gonna be really cold, probably just put it in the trailer so it doesn't get too cold overnight. But
What's
what's your
that?
addresses, so I know?
You can tell him after the meeting.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
tell you after the
okay.
meeting.
Yeah.
I'm on the record right now.
Yeah.
Not that people can't look it up anyways, but
And I had talked to Brian, or I talked to Cheryl about some mulch. Did you bring that with you? So Brian's got some mulch right now that, I think 5 bags.
Yeah, I could probably drop that off at Scott's place. Would that work?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, just throw it out there by the shop.
Okay. So then we'll have mulch around them, we'll get them done. So then,
Still have mulch down at the shop that was left over from the tree.
Oh, yeah, we didn't end up using all that at Hiawatha.
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Darn, okay.
So I
Well.
can just swing down and grab some,
Yeah, I can't tell you how many bags anymore, but
although there's probably 30, I bet you.
Oh, well, see, and I already
Yeah,
bought
we
some.
did use- Yeah. How many bags
good?
of mulch should I take?
I don't know, maybe
I've got
10.
13 trees at my house, but they're 1-gallon pots.
Yeah, I mean they're all pretty small. We got about, I think I have just as many. We have about 2 dozen trees. I think half a bag per plant because they're pretty small.
Okay.
Should be fine.
So,
You'd probably be good with a quarter bag per tree. Would
Yeah.
be more than
I always just know that mulch never seems to go as far as I think it does.
yeah, it's always.
I'm like 10 bags will be plenty, and then I need 10 more.
Okay.
All right. So, what are you gonna get? How many?
10 bags.
10 bags.
Parks Department's gonna bring it Wednesday morning.
Okay. Great. So
I
then,
missed that. Do you guys put the mulch in like 5-gallon buckets? You guys are growing trees? Is that what you do?
We're planting at the ditch on Beach Street, just on the south side of Hiawatha Park. On the north side of the ditch, the east end, closer to the creek, there were some. Were they sycamore or were they?
15 sycamore.
They were sycamore planted, and to fill in the space between the trees because it's going to be kind of hard to mow. We're going to plant some native shrubs there. We got, I don't know, half a dozen different kinds of native shrubs from local nurseries, and they're good in wetter areas. So some of them will be kind of on the bank, some will be up more toward the top of the hill to fill in that area. So we're going to use the mulch just around those.
That's good.
Is there a shrub dance versus
a shrub dance? I won't be there. You'll have to, you remember how to do it?
No, that's the tree dance. I'm asking, is there a shrub one?
Well, you can modify it. You'll be there.
Just don't raise it up as high.
We did that for the
Like this, so this.
we did that for the plugs out at the prairie.
Yeah, we did do
Yeah,
that,
we
didn't
did a dance, and then we got a drought, so
Yeah, and then it didn't rain for.
it didn't rain for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, they dried out.
So
Okay, so, kinda got that nailed down. I think you got that. What about the seeds?
So the seeds, I've got them. They're in my office. I think what we're gonna have to do is just bring some rakes, and we'll. I got a little hand spreader, and we'll just rake them in. I think that it might kind of work out well, having a little bit of grass there to hold the seed in. We just want to make sure they get ground contact.
Okay. So, should we just talk about getting together on a Saturday morning and doing that, or?
Well, if we're gonna have a bunch of kids out there on next Wednesday, maybe we just bring some rakes and they can help us,
Now, they might have some rakes.
or they can bring some rakes and help us.
John a text and say, hey, bring your yard rakes. We got seeds to rake in.
It only takes one person to spread the seed, but we're gonna need a lot of help raking it in to make sure it gets
Right.
ground contact.
And they've got a couple hours. So
Yeah.
they should be able to get
And whatever they don't get done, we can stay. We'll have a couple people
What
from
time?
DC. 8:30,
No, December the 4th.
December 4th, 8:30 a.m.
In Hiawatha, right?
Hiawatha Park,
Hiawatha,
yeah.
yep.
December 4th, right?
So if you show up, bring your garden rake. Bring your garden rake.
Yeah.
Bring your garden rakes. Okay, and I'll get a hold of John. When's school out? When's the last day?
Well, high school, it's like December 18th or something like that.
Well, are you done this week? We have tomorrow.
For a break, yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
No, no school tomorrow.
So it'd be a little hard to get a hold of John before, well, no, that's the 4th. He'll be back on the 2nd. No, 2nd's Monday, that's deer season, isn't
I've got his cell. I'll just shoot him a text on his cell.
Okay.
Say, hey,
it? Great, thanks.
got the kids.
Just trying to think how to work that out. So basically, we're gonna be getting the pollinators in and the seeds in,
Yep.
essentially on the 4th.
Yeah.
Great.
Make it a whole big thing. I'll try to remember to take pictures. I always forget to take pictures.
Yeah, it'd be good to have pictures.
I always forget though.
I can't always forget to send them. I got a bunch of them on my phone.
Oh, man, Judy was looking for pictures for our Tree City, and I don't,
Is it too late?
for
Yeah,
Tree
for this
City.
year. Did you get the daffodil pictures I sent?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I did get those. I'm terrible about taking pictures. All right, that's great. That's gonna be a good project. Okay.
And then, so the West Prairie, at council on Monday, I think they just officially dedicated that, the Columbus Delano
Is that what that was? I read something about that.
Discovery Park?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Prairie or
Discovery Prairie?
So the
Yep.
west area.
This is what
now
we've called the west area is now the Columbus Delano Discovery Trail.
Prairie or.
Prairie, something.
Discovery, yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I just watched it too on YouTube, but I cannot remember.
So what brought around the name change?
We're naming parks now. So we named, the
Well, the Delano
the
Burn
CA&C
is
CA&C Depot is
Liberty,
the-
or, no.
Well, Delano, I
Heritage-
did learn
Heritage
this.
Park.
Yeah, I did learn
Yeah.
this. Did you remember what he was talking about with Mr. Delano? That he actually ended up being the Secretary of Interior under USC's grant.
But he's also the one doing that who got rid of all the buffalo.
Well, yeah, if you want to split hairs, yeah, there's some.
Yeah.
But he was almost governor. He was a county prosecutor here in Knox County, and had the
Largest merino sheep farm, right? I think in the country.
yeah. So
Dang.
he was a pretty famous guy, and yes, when he was Secretary of the Interior, was not very friendly to the buffalo, but that was his way to try to control the Native Americans as well. So
Okay.
just
All right.
another black.
Nobody consulted me in the naming, so I don't.
Yeah,
I can't answer that. I actually didn't know till I was watching council, and I'm like, oh, that's
I saw
Didn't know
it
we were
printed
naming the
somewhere,
park,
and I
but okay.
wondered where that was, so now I know.
So that is, we've got 300 or 400 yards of really, really good topsoil that came out of Riverside Park. It was all cut from when we did our infiltration trench there. Beautiful topsoil. So if you go out there, you'll see it mounded up. Scott and I are gonna try to figure out how we're gonna get that spread out. We haven't really had a chance because it's been wet, and we don't want to spread it wet because then it'll compact, and we don't want compacted topsoil turn into, as Scott said, concrete basically. So we need to be nice and fluffy, get a nice 2 to 3 inch layer across it. Once that's spread out, I think we've already got the seed to do it. If we have any additional funds before the year's up, I'll probably encumber those for seed. If we have like extra stormwater funds or anything like that, we could always buy more seed to throw in there. And then we'll be seeding that maybe December, potentially more like January.
We hardly had any milkweed this year.
Very little.
In the setback, very little milkweed. Last year after you mowed it, when Brian went in and put all the trees in, it was just thick. This year it didn't get mowed in any way, and we hardly had any milkweed.
There was milkweed coming up in the fill area where we cleared it all out and brought all that filter. There was milkweed coming up.
None of
Good.
it went to seed though, did it?
Yeah, there was
Some of it did.
There was a little bit there in the setback, but I'm gonna go ahead and, that's the plan, I'm still gonna.
You're gonna brush hog that?
I'm gonna brush hog it to get it kinda knocked down and get some things, cause I wanna try to get a lot of the poison ivy out of there and to help me with some of the invasive plants.
Are you gonna brush hog west aerial then too?
Plan to,
Okay.
especially like where, if you look there in that bowl where I've got all the autumn olive dead, I'm gonna get all that mulched up and mowed, so.
Yeah, I'd like the east side of the Arboretum, the 50 natives,
Yes,
where we don't have much going on. I'd like, they haven't been mowing that. I'd like that to be brushed hogged anyway.
yeah, and I've got a lot of dead trees and brush over there, so.
Okay.
And there was a butterfly specific mix. There were 2 seed mixes bought. One's going to be put along the whole site, and then the butterfly specific mix, which has a lot of milkweed in it, will be done on the perimeter. Because we've learned recently, I guess, that milkweed is actually best planted on the perimeter of the prairie, because a lot of butterflies aren't venturing in. They something about their eyesight or
They're
maybe.
attracted to the shape of the leaves.
Yeah, so
Milkweed.
it's more beneficial on the outside.
Oh,
So that we're not going to waste planting it on the inside. We'll plant it just on the outside where it's most
and this
beneficial.
is basically in the bottom part of the bowl.
Yeah,
Flat.
that's really all that we have is that bottom area. Yeah, and then we'll probably continue overseeding year after year in the other areas until we get it where we want it.
It's gonna,
Very good.
it's really a neat project, it's gonna be nice.
Very good. Very nice. Something else I read about the Xerxes Society was doing something. I'll come back to it. Okay. So, anybody have any questions about what's going on there? You're good to go? Under new business, I have the resolution to accept the grant, but I talked to Brianna today and we've pulled that grant. It was too broad and they didn't feel that we were gonna have any chance of acceptance based on the narrow definition of what they wanted. So we're looking at some other grants. We've got a couple of them worked out. So I've got a couple other things here.
Which grant, Doc?
There was the EPA grant was what it was called. It was they narrowed it down mainly to air pollution was what they were really pushing for.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass that. You guys can look at that real quick. So Liberty Park, Brian took the arborvitaes that we were gonna put at the far end of Mansfield Avenue there, the old Grange, which is now a church. They were theirs. He took them and put them in at Statue of Liberty for the dedication. They've been removed, and now the plaques have been installed. I've got pictures here for anybody. So we talked about, and Brian talked about the best kind of tree or shrub to put around there, and I don't remember what you said it was.
He talked about taxes or use.
Use, that's what it was.
Okay. Nice, it wouldn't be too small.
They prune up really easy.
Yeah.
Well, there's some taller ones we can put around the places without the signs, and then there's some of that variety called Everlow. It would be good to put below the sign, so we thought we could have that green cover up that concrete.
Yeah, and it'd be nice because we'll just stay on with people's shape.
The sign
Very
really
nice, that'll be
Yeah,
great.
he's got pictures of the last one like they take it.
Yeah, they could get beaten.
Yeah.
Okay, so if, we'll just ask Cheryl to send us a quote on what you think would be best in there, and we'll go for that.
I got a question about your Statue of Liberty. If you're coming down, let's say, Main Street, you think you got too many trees right there by the depot, the bike path, that blocks the Statue of Liberty, or you gonna take some out and move them? It's wide open.
Those is crab trees, the crabs, the low ones?
Which way are you headed, Russ?
What's that?
I think you mean southbound as you're coming across the bridge.
Yeah, like when you're coming, let's say I'm leaving Baker, I'm coming across. You know,
Okay.
see,
Oh, you're
there's-
heading north
There's
there.
one tree right there, but there's really 2 trees.
Well,
on
there's some,
Columbus Road.
are you talking about the lindens that are like out by the road, or the ones?
I don't know the name.
Well, are the trees out by the road or up?
No, they're
closer to the
close, they're
building?
by the bike path.
Oh, it says oaks.
When you
how
help me
about
put the bike pump in, I'll show you.
Yeah, I gotta get with John about that. I forgot all about that.
All
Are you
right.
putting in a pump?
He's got a pump and some tools to put in. I'm gonna help you do that. I just gotta get permission.
Oh, no, I just wondered. I mean,
Yeah, I'm trying to think, I thought it was fairly open. There might be one oak there at the end, the one that has all the real bad gall. That's the only one.
Look, here's one. Here's a good example. Like on this one, what is that, Doc? You know, like if you're
The one in the
looking
background?
down, like on Main Street, it blocks it. You mean?
Oh, that's over towards the river there.
Yeah, it's on the riverbank.
Yeah, that's the crabs and
No, there's a,
No, it's not. Like here's the road. Like here's the parking lot. It's right there's the street lights. So if you're coming across there,
I think we need to just take a field trip.
yeah, we're gonna have to walk out
There's
there.
harvest gold crabs
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
I know we have some crabs along the bike trail.
Mhm.
Everybody get a chance to see that? What'd you think?
I was just confused when I first saw it. I was like, what is that? Like, I've never seen that before.
is there going to be a light on it, like on that in
We're gonna
front?
have uplight on the statue itself. Yeah.
What is actually like the purpose of that? Like a just,
It was a gift
oh, okay.
to the city, not from the city, from Karen, right? Bought it, and it was, yeah.
Yeah, there's only, I think 100 of them made or 60.
Mhm.
Something like that.
Yep.
Dog park.
No, I know. I know.
Just
the purpose. Yeah,
I'm
no.
just-
Okay, so, we talked about water bags. I got a hold of Am Leonard, the company we buy the water bags from, and we were in their program where we can order our bags now. They don't ship till the spring, and we don't have to pay for them until they're ready to ship them. So the best price I could get, and we talked about 200 bags so we could replace everything that was damaged, we are at $18.15 a bag, which is what we paid for the last bags we ordered. So that locks us in at that price. We won't be paying next year's price, which obviously will be more. You know, they went up almost $3 a bag between spring and when we ordered the last one. So we're at $3,630 for those 200 bags. Anybody have a question about that? Would you like to approve that we apply for,
Make a
encumbered
motion that
funds?
we accept
Is there
that.
any restitution from the lawn care companies?
Brandy, did you get anything back from any of the lawn care companies on any of that?
I didn't speak with any of them, so.
I did, and they were gonna get back with you, but they never did. So, no,
Should be.
I agree.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of trees we could be planting with that money.
Because I called two of them. They were supposed to send Randy quotes or, no, what was it? Yeah.
Reimbursement.
Yeah, reimbursement.
Yeah,
Jeez, thank
we
you.
knew what you meant.
Yeah, it's like Sarah and Laura. Yeah.
I don't know.
It just depends on the day. I will get on that.
Jim, I think we have a motion on the floor, so someone might want to say.
I'm sorry, I
I
stopped the
believe
talk.
he's,
That's okay, Russ did.
Okay,
Russ made a
Russ,
motion.
okay, so we had a motion and a second for
Oh, you had
spending.
a second? I didn't hear it.
Russ,
I can do that.
You did him.
you made the motion,
Yeah. you
email
did.
seconded, okay. So all in favor of encumbering the money for water bags for next year?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, all right, we'll work on that. Then, another thing real quick, with the water truck, and we had talked about this, Randy, you wanna talk about a little bit with the, probably had with the inverter and where you are with that, or do you want me to just rattle on?
We were just down to being able to run one pump. And with the inverter system we have to keep the dump truck running the whole time they're out. So basically, when they start in the morning, it's running all day long. When it gets really warm in the middle of summer, the truck's just, you're sitting there cooking it basically. So I was looking at it with Scott, and I'm talking about that unit. I should give you the paperwork. It's a self-contained unit that goes in the truck, where once they get there, they can shut the truck off. This has its own motor, pumps and reels, and it takes care of itself. Basically, I think we could get longer out of the truck, and it's quite expensive, truthfully, but it's a lot cheaper than a vehicle.
So it's a gas or diesel powered generator it's got
It's
running
got
the pumps?
It's got a motor with a piston pump, or a roller pump on it. and it'll pump up to 15 gallon a minute. You can run 2 3/4 inch hoses off the back. It's got reels and everything on it.
And if the truck goes, we do end up having issues, hopefully we can get a couple more years or so, but it will fit in the back of a pickup.
They call them a skid unit. You just take a skid steer in, pick them up, set them in the truck, bolt or chain them, and then they're anywhere from 300 gallons to 750 gallons.
How much do they run?
What was that one?
About 8,000.
Yeah, the 535 gallons with the pump, the motor, the hose, everything was $8,098.
Yeah, half or 3/4 inch hose. with
8,100
valves
bucks.
Yep.
So when
You
we,
can take the 500 and tax off of that. I told
I
him.
took it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
That's that friend.
yeah, because of the 503C.
Yeah.
When we were talking earlier this year, just buying a generator to run the pump so that the truck doesn't have to run all day was gonna be in the $2,500 to $2,800 range. So this is substantially more than that, but this is essentially better.
It's a pretty nice system,
It's
actually.
gonna pump a lot quicker with the trees to fill them.
So I just got this today. We're just talking about it for the first time. It's something that we need to consider, but we are spending another $8,100.
When do you need to purchase by?
Did they give you a timeline on how quick they can get them?
He asked me about, no, I don't think it would be more than, at the most, it might be a month out.
This year's budget,
Yeah, well, it'd come out of next year's money.
next
So-
year's money.
So we would need to make a decision about this by February. Sometime in that area. So it gives you a little time to think about it if you have questions.
So what part of the money does it come out of?
It would be out of the Arbor Trust.
Arbor Trust?
That would be out of the shade tree money that city
How
council.
much money we got left?
The quote he
I can
sent
take
me.
a picture.
This year, we don't have any. Well, we won't by the time we get done.
How much will we get awarded into that for next year?
I think.
That's up to city council.
So when they finish the budget?
Once they finish the budget, then we'll know how much we get. So what percentage of our budget will be next year, we don't know. I would like to think they wouldn't reduce our funding because we have a lot more projects going on. The mayor is working hard. Sustainability is a big thing in communities, and trees are a major part of sustainability. Quentin and Zane and Brian, who else went to that?
Nick
Brianna,
Johnson.
Nick Johnson, the mayor.
So we had quite a contingency there at a big meeting with the state. Was that with the state?
Morpsey.
Pardon me?
Morpsey.
Morpsey. That's the
Regional Planning Commission.
regional planning. So it's a big deal for
What was the 24 Arbor Trust amount? I should probably.
$50,000 last year. Or this year. Which is substantially more than we've gotten in years past. So we're hoping they don't reduce it. Considering our projects we're taking on, I can't see them doing that, but you never know.
And actually, Aerial Foundation did donate the truck, so maybe they would be willing to maybe donate a portion of that.
And
I know they're very happy with what you all been doing with the maintaining and treatment of the trees. So.
we'll have a meeting with Jen after the first of the year to go over what we've done this year, where we're going with things next year, as far as our Aerial Foundation grants. So anyway, that's just an expense, something to think about. As I know more, I'll tell you more. So, we talked about a bunch of different things. We've got a lot of trees going in. We've got some legwork that still needs to be done as far as getting in and talking to folks and getting flags in the ground. So, most of the tree planting happens next year. All the tree planting happens next year. There's some can go in this year. There's a few things that we can get done this year yet. But most all of it will be next year. So we don't meet again until January, end of January. So there'll be probably some phone calls and some other things, communications going on here over the next month to firm things up, make sure we're good. We may be out doing more. Obviously, well, we will be out doing more, out in the community, getting more flags in and doing more of that kind of work. And then December the 4th, we'll be getting the pollinators in on Beach Street with everybody, whoever can show up and help, that would be great. Did I miss anything? Questions, concerns?
Oh, I just have a random question, probably for the city guys. So I had one request over on Wood Lake Trail, or whatever it's called, and noticed that there, despite having lovely tree lawns, there is not a tree in a tree lawn there. Is that something that city designated? I mean, all the utilities are buried, so it's like,
Okay,
look at those
Wood-
lovely tree lawns.
Wood Lake, is that up off of Yager Road?
Yep.
That's a HOA up in there.
Okay, so they,
No. Not all Wood Lake is.
Well, okay, there is a portion of it that's run by an HOA, and
I asked the
They-
homeowner, who's relatively new, and she did not say it's because she
but
was
the
like, oh,
HOA,
you're right.
HOA in there doesn't allow trees in their tree lawn.
They have beautiful tree lawns out there.
I don't know, they do have a lot of buried, all the utilities are buried, so I don't know if they're buried in the tree lawn, if they're under the sidewalk, if they have utility chases under the street.
I just
Right.
got it all cameraed, so it is tree lawn adjacent, so maybe that's why. And behind property, some of the sewer does run through
Right.
the back
Just
parcels and
like,
stuff.
look at all those great tree lawns.
Yeah, there's
Not a tree in it.
There's a lot of land up there with no trees.
Right. That was sort of my feeling. There were a lot of smaller ornamental trees, but not.
We've been in that neighborhood a couple times. It doesn't hurt to keep trying.
I didn't know if it was a city designation or.
No, we'd plant trees if they let us. I think.
I mean, our current zoning code requires tree lawn plantings for new developments. So that might have been built under a previous code, or they got a variance from that. But my guess is they're electric, they're telecom, it's all underground. So they probably put those in the tree lawn. And that's probably why they can't plant there.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you start asking around and see. I know there is an HOA up in some of that area. I don't know where it's all designated. But I know they've been very resistant to trees sometimes.
We might be planting some trees in that area at some point. We got a big project that's gonna happen in there, so there might be some trees associated with that.
Things
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta rebuild a dam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they got a little
You can't
damage.
plant trees on a dam, but we're gonna have a dammed up lake area, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of autumn olive and stuff that's probably gonna come out. Might be able to plant some trees.
Nice willows, river birds, it'd be nice in there.
We'll make them pay
You
for
can't
it
plant
though.
enough river birds, we know that.
I don't think we've planted enough trees yet.
I know. I seen a little piece of you die when we was talking about not being allowed to plant over there, but that's all right. We'll find another piece of ground for you.
I do, real quick, I have a committee meeting with city council on the 9th. Every year I come up and I talk to all the city council members, tell them what we've done for the year, where we've been, what we've done, where we're going, just to kind of let them know what we're doing with their money. I don't know if I told you this or not, but last year we planted 418 trees. Scott pruned to 500. We only did 44 tree removals last year.
That was
So
it.
that was really, yeah.
Squeezed
Now,
it.
it'll go up probably next year. Zane he worked hard to kind of keep that going, keep that down. Our volunteer hours were 1,800, over 1,800 hours volunteered last year, which
That's a
is,
full-time employee.
yeah, which is, that's more than we did the year before. I think we were only 15-something the year before, so our volunteer hours are going up. We have a couple 3 new members this year. So our volunteer hours will be going up because we'll be getting everybody up to speed. And in doing this, in the last 10 years, we've planted 4,943 trees in the last 10 years.
What was that number again, Doc?
4,943 in the past 10 years.
That's great.
That's your old force.
Yeah, so we planted a few trees. And it's all because of people like you that help us out and do this stuff. So, okay, anybody have anything else for today?
Do you have an estimate what we're gonna do for 24 based on what people said today?
As far as projects?
Trees planted in the
Oh,
24 budget.
no, we don't have the numbers in yet. We'll get the quotes in, get that figured out, and then, we always don't do what we quote. Sometimes we do more, sometimes we do less. So we'll have those numbers later in the year. Okay, well, have a great Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.
Motion to adjourn.
Pardon me?
Motion to
I'll
adjourn.
make the
Thank
motion
you.
to adjourn.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Motion to adjourn, please, Jim.
Second.
Motion.
Laura motion,
Russ seconded.
Russ seconded.